Yo, 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 it's ODB, our lifestyle podcast, aka OLP. Make sure you check us out via your favorite podcast app. Simply search OLP. Often that's all you need to do via Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Pandora, iHeartRadio, you name it. We're pretty much out there. So check us out. Mini Truckin Inspired. We cover a lot of topics though. So let's jump right in here. You got Mini Truckin Magazine Issue number 2. Very hard issue to get. It took me a long time. Thanks to the homie in the Facebook group. I was in a mini truck or car club in the 80s or 90s is the name of the group. It's a long name, but it's a great group. A guy came through and he hooked me up, gave me a good price, and I went ahead and snatched this one up. So what do we have here? I'm going to kind of jump right in. Now, it's getting a little bit dark here, so I wanted to get this video done as soon as I could. Ain't No Joke is the way I always remembered this one. So you got that front license plate there on the Nissan hardbody. Of course, this is the second issue. You got a chick on the cover, which we'll talk more about models on the cover in a future episode. It's winter 89, so you want to think, I typically think of the winter the end of the year, but the way they did this was going into the new year, from 88 to 89. They looked at it as that's the first season. So it was volume 2, number 3, and it just doesn't make any sense. Trust me. They even talk about it in the magazine. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of this series where we're going to go through every issue. Got a little bit of a tear here. Again, these are hard to find in perfect condition. I'm super excited to have this one now in the collection. Now, Doug E. Culp, he shot 4 covers, including issue 1. This is issue 2. January 91, and I think it was January 95. Those were the issues that he was credited with. And Steve Stillwell, of course, is the editor. So we saw this in one of the other early issues where kind of the upside-down advertising thought process was probably like, hey, I can't read this. Let me flip it around, and it actually got you to pay attention to it. High-tech engraving. Might have to be a throwback term of the week on the podcast in the future. Been trying to do one throwback term of the week every episode. So when I'm recording these, I feel like I'm going slow, but when I go back and I'm uploading it or I'm watching it to make sure, to see if I made mistakes and things like that, I kind of feel like I'm going quickly through them. So I'll try to slow down a little bit. So here you see there where it talks about Douglas E. Culp. Special thanks there. Nissan hardbody. And I have posted a few features via OLP. You can follow us on social media. It's Our Lifestyle Podcast. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Primarily Instagram is where we hang out at. I do try to go a couple times a week on Facebook and respond to comments and things like that. It blows me away the support that we receive, and the amount of people that'll sometimes chime in on posts. We had a post earlier this week where I posted Kevin Cox's amazing yellow Chevy Tahoe cover of Truckin years ago, and I recalled some little story with it, and it was cool. Mitch Henderson from Mitch Henderson Designs, he remembered that story, and it's pretty awesome to be able to keep the scene alive with the cool stories, and that's what we do on OLP. We're going to be talking about a lot more subjects too as we move forward. Been doing it 5+ years. Euro styling, so obviously super popular in the day. Stuff like this, even though it kind of ran its course and, a lot of us were like, ground effects, that stuff is like hard to come by these days. Hard to come by. Here's a fun little fact. Well, not a fact, but I was talking with Ryan from West Coast Customs the other day. And if you guys know him, he's been around a long time. He really got his start in mini trucking. big name guest, hoping to bring some audio to the Airhead Nation and all the listeners here in the near future. Really cool dude. Obviously, Alex Anderson, a.k.a. Alex Who, that we had on recently, he has the connection to Ryan. And I got a chance, like I said, to talk with Ryan for a little bit about a couple things and trying to connect him with something that he needed. And I thought it was pretty cool because, again, West Coast Customs had 4 covers in a short span in the mid to late 90s. And, of course, Ryan, I sent him some of the video that Steve Nielsen had taken at Cal Truck Jam, I think, 98. And he thought it was pretty awesome. Steve Nielsen was, he was one of the first guys I started buying parts from at Alter Images back in the day when I got in the scene. And some of you know Steve would send out a VHS tape to his customers, and the VHS tapes were basically just not even bootlegs. They were him going to shows, open houses, things like that, like Cal Concepts, and he would videotape the stuff. Now, I joked with him and I said he probably had a video camera on his shoulder. That's what my dad was doing back in the late 80s when he bought our first video camera. But Steve reminded me he was using a handheld with the smaller tapes. Of course, now we just use our phones, which is crazy. That wood console dough. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool. Ryan thought it was awesome. And Alex continues to remind people that Ryan Friglinghouse, he still owns the Mazda. I'm sure he's got a lot of cool stuff, but you can imagine running a business of that size, the amount of stuff he's got going on. And I hope to see more of it in the future. Malibu Mazda, I posted this one. Really cool shoot, man. Out there on the beach, ground effects. Mazda, of course, got the surfboard. And really a cool vibe, especially kind of a Cali vibe there. And definitely apologize again. The light is, kind of dwindling here. But you see California Concepts, Compton, California 88 Mazda B2200. So here you go. Not my favorite paint job there, but again, perfect for the era. If this were to come out today, boom. I think we'd all enjoy it. 86 Nissan, no, 85. The other thing that was cool is Greg Miller from Scrapin the Coast, one of our title sponsors. He announced that Scrapin the Coast, this is their 19th annual event. They're doing money awards for the top mini trucks, which I think is awesome. So Greg's always kind of doing cool things. I mean, he's given away billet wheels in the past at the show. Come on down to Biloxi last weekend in June. Biloxi, Mississippi. It's really at the big convention center there. I think it's technically the Coliseum. But, man, I've never seen a show that really kind of takes over the entire city with the amount of people that come in, the locals. Just a really good show. And you can go to Scrapin the Coast. That's Scrapin with an IN on the end. Scrapinthecoast.com. Or follow them on Facebook and Instagram, social media. Good dude, does a lot for the scene, does a lot to help people out as well. And looking forward to going to that show. I think some people, like when shows are around a long time, they tend to kind of forget like how good a show is. But, we saw shows like Show Fest. As awesome and as big as it was, it ran its course with Rezo many, many, many years. So, don't take a show for granted that, it's around, I'll eventually get there. Try to make plans to go out to some of these shows. So here you go, a lot of black and white. So Mini Truck and Marquee, I've talked about these in the past. Go back, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, leave us a like, turn on the bell notification, click it, whatever. And if you go back, what I've done is I've cleaned up the titles of all of these, so it's very clear on what month, what year, and what number it is. to me, if you're looking to collect these, or maybe you just want certain ones, take my advice. Just go by the number, like issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. I kind of hinted there, and I want to say it was issue 3 or issue 4. I talked about it where I think it was Steve Nielsen. He wrote about the numbering system they used, and early on, it was kind of, when I started this like little journey to collect all these issues, it was a little tough to kind of figure out, like, okay, wait a minute, am I missing an issue? Were there 2 this year? Were there 4? But once they got on track and they were bi-monthly, you basically had, quarterly, and then they got to the bi-monthly point. And when we get there, we will, of course, kind of, reinforce when that cutover happened. The other thing was, I know many are waiting for the next one. So many thought this was going to be January 93. And I'm stoked for that one. Many of you know why. Many of you know that issue. And I will get to that one hopefully this weekend. Ooh la la. But always like the paint scheme on this one. Again, I never really got a chance to look at this issue, but I've seen people post this feature, that TV dough. And the other thing I was talking to Ruben about is look at the back window. You got audio chamber. We had the homie that worked there on the podcast. He had a famous truck. It was Lee Bauer, I believe it was, with the yellow truck and audio chamber. We've seen people in Canada and in Japan even recreate that that logo for their trucks. I think a homie that we're going to sync up with soon, he goes by the name Lucky. He's up in Canada. And he is a good dude. He's a mini truck fiend. He's got some really cool rides. And I think one of the trucks that he has now, a cover truck, he has the audio chamber, I think, on the back window. I'm going from memory here. So here you go. You got the little call out there, that issue, Mini Truckin'. Talks about some of the other publications. And then boom, right there, audio chamber. They really had good advertising, the A, the C, the cool logo, the chicks. Obviously, when we talked on that episode, we talked about how the branding wasn't so important, because many, looked up to them as like, wow, man, that's the place to go to get your car stereo stuff. And not saying it wasn't, but, he kind of talks a little bit about the products they were selling. Were they really more premium than the next guy? He talks about it. I'm trying to kind of hold these, the page as I flip it, because again, it is getting dark. Tilt a whirl. So boom, that one looks, yeah, it's a little dark. Looks like, hey, we just saw that truck. But pretty cool stuff. Check out the hashtag Tiltbed Evolution. That's one of the big homies. And they've got a whole Facebook page, or group, I should say. I follow that hashtag, so I get a chance to see all the stuff the homie posts on Instagram. Yeah, there were, I forget if it was 7 features in this issue. One thing that's always been synonymous with mini truckers is the vanity plates. And pretty cool stuff. Over the years, they would do like little things like that, even if it was a smaller section. All right, show runner. Super clean. Love the house there, with the pavers and everything. Really kind of gives a cool, almost like Southwest vibe. No mud for this tall Toyota. So, Steve Roger. Oceanside Cali. All right, got to get through this one before it gets too dark. But we appreciate everyone that comes here and watches these videos. The amount of support that we've seen is amazing with the amount of minutes watched. So thanks for hopefully watching these all the way through. This one is Steve Stillwell. He featured this one, or shot this one, I should say. And we posted this, of course, on Instagram and Facebook. Topless Tulsa truck. Back to a color ad here. You got the mini truckin sticker. Pretty cool cover there on both. 4WD action. That was one I never read. Mini truckin stickers. I posted. I have one of the original ones that I got from one of the homies. Just a truck. Super, super clean. Alan Paradise shot this one. Looks like in front of a firehouse. And I talked about, this was my throwback term of the week recently, the flex window. Things are super cool, man. Nice little mod. You got the louvers on the hood. You got the chrome undercarriage. Alan Paradise laying it down. One of the founders, kind of the forefathers, I should say, of Mini Truckin Magazine. I was out at the Mini Truck Hall of Fame when he was out there, and probably 2015 or 2016, I think, were the 2 years I had went, and he was out there on stage. I think he was, I forget if he was introducing someone, but it was pretty cool. So one of my favorite mods of all time, many of you know, is that C.R. Lawrence rear window, and that's what this is. Wish they would bring that product back. Roll down back windows. It was called Power, P-O-W-R Light, L-I-T-E, Power Light windows, and that thing is super rare. I've seen them before in various forums where people have them for, like, the Nissans. Like, I think that was there. But they're even more rare for the foreign trucks. I never really see them too often, of course, even for the Chevys. They started making them, or they ended production in, it's like 90 or 91. So the 88 to 98 Chevys had them made, and they're pretty rare to get your hands on one. So with the sun going down, see here, black and white. A lot of ads and stuff here in the back, sometimes some weird ads, but you could imagine if you were a guy or lady selling advertising, you didn't really care. Super cool artwork there. Alf Lucen. Pretty freaking awesome. Mike, you got to do the gold wing doors on the Mazda. We've been talking about it. Pretty cool stuff, man. I always enjoyed watching this stuff early, or, you know, looking at it throughout the years. I can't draw. If you listen to the podcast, I can't draw at all. And it's a talent I do not have. But I enjoy seeing others take their talent to the next level. A lot of black and white here. Woody wagon. Often see some cool stuff here riding around. So wanted to point this out. Here you go. You got Rezo 89. So going into that year. And Rezo was always kind of tough for me to figure out because, like, this goes into the new year. Even though this was like December of 88, that's going into 89. So that this was, you know, Rezo 89. I only went the 1 year. And all the years later when I was like, wait, what year did we go? Was it 02? Oh, wait, is it 03? But, yeah, Bob Hayes. We had him on many, many, many moons ago when we first started the podcast. And some people have said, man, we got to have him on. And I'm like, well, we did early on. But we're going to be linking up with him a little bit more here in the near future. So hopefully we'll get some more Bob Hayes stories. I always liked this ad. Had some cool stuff. Right there, right? And then a really cool back cover. So ground rules. Really awesome truck. Got the Stillin on the windshield banner, right? So there you have it. This was the last issue I needed to complete my collection. Winter 89, Volume 2, Number 3. Again, don't look at that. That's too confusing. McMullen Publishing. You got the Zach Morris type dude. That era was awesome. I love it. Ain't no joke. And if you got this issue, cool. If you've wanted us to, or if you've appreciated, like, and I'm going to walk out here because it's a little bit lighter. If you've appreciated it, like, so we saw some comments when someone said, hey, thanks for going through issue number 1 because they had never seen it. Well, that's why we're doing this, because if you take a look here, I gave a hint recently at some of the behind the scenes, but we got all these are extra issues and just some that I kind of threw in here for a quick photo op that day. But if you've got all that, it's cool. A lot of guys have them stored away. You'll hear, oh, they're in the attic, they're this or that, and they're not easily accessible. Well, to me, it's like, okay, it's great to have them easily accessible, but it's a lot of work to go through them. Sometimes the homies come by, they want to check them out, but why have all it and not share it with other people? So that's why we've been doing this, to try to say, hey, you know, we often get people going, hey, my dad's truck was in a magazine. My truck was in one. I can't remember which one. Well, now you can kind of go back. If you're watching all these, biggity boom, you save it, you screenshot it, you figure out which one it is, and then boom, you can go out there and find it. So thanks to everyone that supports the podcast. Most importantly, we got new merch that's going to be shipping very soon. Thanks to Graphic Disorder. Thanks to all the sponsors. Stay on the rise, y'all. And we'll see you at After Dark. After Dark in February, and then Orange Beach Invasion in mid-March. Come check us out, y'all. ODB, we got you. Peace. Truckin Magazine, though. Got you.